In the spring of 2002, Bill Porter and I traveled to China to find Bodhidharma's burial place. It is at an ancient, almost forgotten site called Empty Form Temple on the flanks of Bear Ear Mountain. We had only a vague idea of its location. Fortunately, during the 1990s, the Chinese Buddhist priest Shi Yongxin located the site and started activities leading to its renovation. The Japanese Bodhidharma Society joined with the Chinese Buddhist Association in this undertaking. Prior to this time, people in China had either forgotten or were unaware of the site's location, a place in the countryside of the Yellow River Basin. At the time of Bill's and my visit in the spring of 2002, reconstruction of the temple was underway. A memorial hall and a front gate were being built. 6 months later, the first of what would be yearly memorial ceremonies marking the traditional date of Bodhidharma's death publicly inaugurated the temple. Thousands of Buddhist clergy and lay people from throughout China attended that first celebration. Since then, many thousands of persons have returned each year to participate in this annual event. Recently, the 6th such ceremony concluded, with a large gathering of Chinese and foreign guests taking part. The legend of Bodhidharma, the first ancestor of Zen, retains astonishing force in Chinese Buddhist society. The crowd that attends the annual ceremony packs the road approaching the temple. Priests and lay people, by the hundreds, prostrate themselves in veneration every 3 steps as they approach Bodhidharma's burial place. The celebration includes martial arts practitioners from Shaolin Temple, as well as thousands of ordinary peasants who make meager contributions to the temple's reconstruction fund. The area of northern China where the temple is located is extremely poor, and progress is slow. But with help from friends at home and abroad, the temple is slowly regaining some of its ancient stature. At its height, Kungxiang Temple contained more than 400 rooms and housed more than 800 people. But when the site was rediscovered in the 1990s, only Bodhidharma's burial stupa, named Empty Perception, remained from earlier times. This photo shows a ceremony by Japanese Buddhists in front of the stupa in the year 2001, before temple reconstruction began. The stupa is itself a medieval reconstruction dating from the year 1396. In 2004, it underwent repairs funded by the Japanese Bodhidharma Society. A new residence hall and meeting room have now been constructed at the temple. In addition, there is a grand new bell tower. The Bodhidharma Memorial Hall, which commands a broad view of the temple grounds and the surrounding Yellow River Basin, contains a central figure of Bodhidharma and other objects of veneration. Daily services are held there, and it is the center of festivities during the Memorial Day held each year. The mountainside area near the temple was anciently recorded to have been a nature park with lush vegetation and wildlife. To restore the environment of the area, the Bodhidharma Society of Japan donated a sum of money to pay for reforestation. Some fascinating ancient relics can be seen at Kungxiang Temple. Among them, a memorial tablet said to have been placed there by the Emperor Wu after Bodhidharma's death. Bodhidharma's meeting with Emperor Wu is a well-known episode from his legendary life. When Bodhidharma died, Emperor Wu is said to have made 3 exact copies of this memorial. One of those memorial tablets exists here. Another can be found at the burial temple of the second Zen ancestor, Hui Ke, in Henan Province, and the third remains at Shaolin Temple. The text of all these monuments is nearly identical. A different ancient tablet, unearthed at the site, explains how the temple name came about. The tablet is of extreme historical interest. Kongxiang Temple's name is closely tied to one of the most dramatic periods of Chinese history. About 200 years after Bodhidharma lived, during China's most flourishing era known as the Tang Dynasty, a rebellion led by a renegade general named An Lushan spawned a civil war that nearly overthrew the dynasty and destroyed the country. The Tang Emperor Xuanzong's main general, a Buddhist named Guo Ziyi, is said to have made a vow to honor Bodhidharma if he could defeat the rebellion and bring peace to the country. Kongxiang Temple is located in the area where some of the fiercest battles of the Civil War were fought, suggesting that Guo Ziyi made his vow when visiting the temple during the course of the war. Ultimately, after successfully quelling the rebellion, the general petitioned the emperor to rename the temple, then widely known as Bodhidharma's Stupa Temple, to be Kongxiang, meaning empty form temple. This name was a clever play on words, since the words empty form also sound like the words for empty chamber, a reference to the legend that says that Bodhidharma had returned to India and left only one sandal in his burial chamber. The Tang Emperor granted this request. At the same time, the burial stupa was renamed Empty Perception, and Bodhidharma himself received the posthumous title Great Master, Perfect Enlightenment. A tablet recording this history, dated in the year 858, was placed at the temple by Guo Ziyi's great-grandson, who then served as governor in a nearby region. It honors the virtue and achievements of his great-grandfather and describes these events. This tablet was unearthed at the temple site in the year 2004. New archaeological discoveries were made at this site in 2007. These shed even more light on the life of Bodhidharma and the history of the temple. Recently, South Mountain organized 3 different China tours that included Empty Form Temple on their itineraries. Members of many USA Zen centers and Zen groups paid tribute to Bodhidharma at his ancient burial place, chanting the Heart Sutra before his stupa. The temple abbot, Shi Yansi, welcomed the groups and gave each a guided tour. Subsequently, news of the visits was posted widely on the Buddhist Internet network in China. More visits to the temple are planned in the year 2008 by the Great Vow Monastery of Portland, Oregon, and the Los Angeles Zen Center. As events unfold around the rediscovery of Bodhidharma in China, this video will incorporate the information. Bodhidharma's teaching had great impact throughout Asia. His ancient legacy is still being uncovered, and we believe new information about Zen's early development is forthcoming from other recently discovered temples that are part of the Bodhidharma legend. Join us in the coming months as we uncover early treasures of Bodhidharma and his legacy with video programs on this site. Join us as we visit the heart of China and East Asia's religious culture at this and countless other places now coming back to life in China.